Hey guys, what's going on? I'm Shorty SX, or Gamma Shorty, and today I'm bringing you the first episode of a new series I'm starting called Storytime. Now, what Storytime will basically be is a weekly series which will air every Sunday, because, in the interest of adding a little bit of structure to my channel. And it will basically be me taking any question, whether it's game-related or not game-related, or something from my own life, or just something I feel like talking about. It doesn't matter, but I'll basically sit down and tell you a story about it. And because today is the first episode, I figured the perfect topic would be my first-person shooter experience. Or, how I started into FPSs, what are some of the ones I actually played and really enjoyed, and I guess what are my influences, because obviously I played many first-person shooters before Call of Duty, so I know I've had that question quite a few times. But before we get into that, I just wanted to say a quick, hey guys, I'm back. For those of you who knew I had some PC troubles, but everything actually seems to be working pretty okay now. And I'm kind of coming back with a bang, because today you'll be getting two videos from me. Not just this, which will hopefully be, a nice little relaxing commentary you guys can hopefully enjoy, but if you go over to our team channel, GammaGamers TV, the link will be in the description and on screen right now, but I'll be putting out the new pilot episode for another new series called Gamma Academy. Now, Gamma Academy, on the other hand, is something I've been trying to do for a very long time, or I've been planning on doing for a very long time, because it will be the best tool, and trust me on this one, for teaching people how to actually snipe and how to become better snipers. Because here's the idea, and I'm not going to go too much into it because you guys should really go check out that video for more information. But basically what it will be is myself and other great snipers from our team, I'm not going to say who yet, but we'll be basically acting as coaches, and we'll be taking you, like guys from the crowd, viewers who need, help sniping, or who need advice and someone to just kind of like help them improve as a sniper or as a Call of Duty player overall, and we'll be taking those people and we'll be putting them through a 10-week course with weekly meetings where we discuss what's going well, what's not going well. We'll be giving them weekly challenges they have to go with, and lessons and so on, and we'll be aiming at improving their entire level from the very basics to the more advanced things. And of course, in terms of YouTube presentation, we'll be putting that into more of a reality show, if you can kind of picture a reality show, but it won't be lame. Yeah, I don't know if you can picture that, but either way, it'll be awesome because you guys will actually see how real people are, going through the challenges and, fun times of actually learning how to quickscope, and I'm sure everyone will be able to relate it quite a bit. So anyway, go check out that video if you're curious, and let's move on. So like I said, story time, first-person shooter. Well, the very first-person shooter I ever remember playing would have to be Duke Nukem 3D, and there's no doubt about that. Now, for those of you, and I realize many of you are probably a little young for Duke Nukem 3D, because that game was out like 15 years ago? I don't know, a long time ago. But it's not the side-scroller from like some years ago, and it's definitely not the forever version that didn't do so well in reviews recently. I'm talking about Duke Nukem 3D, which was like years ago. I can't remember what year it came out. I should probably look this up. But it was definitely the very first-person shooter I played. And if you think about the time it came out in, and like the gameplay itself, because you were basically, this badass Duke who would like run around and basically, blow aliens and monsters and pigs and hookers and anything else up with rocket launchers and these crazy weapons. And the weirdest, or probably the most controversial part, especially at that time, was the fact that he would be like, "Yeah, come get some," every time he's doing it. So, in many ways, it was like every little kid's dream. You were blowing people up. There was like hints of 6-bit porn in it. There was swearing around every little corner, especially if you decided to blow up someone's corpse. So if teabagging and all that culture was around back then, I'm sure it would have been even more of a hit. But the point was, that was an awesome game. But the problem with Duke Nukem 3D, and, many games like it, was there was no multiplayer at the time. Like, that wasn't really the case. Like, people just weren't looking for it yet. But later on, came games like Unreal Tournament, Quake 2, Quake 3 eventually, of course, and Half-Life. Now, for those of you who don't know, those were pretty much those were the biggest first-person shooters at the time. Like, pretty much anyone who's played PC or first-person shooters probably knows those, especially if they've been around. But the thing about all of them were they were very different. Like, they were not going for realism at all. Most of them were very spacey in many ways. You basically just flew around the map. There were like these crazy jumps which will make you like super jump across the map and fly around, and you have rockets and quad damage and you have a nuke you could press and like the entire map would blow up unless the one guy who was hiding in the base going that was Half-Life, of course. But games were very different, you know, like, and of course, just in case you guys didn't know, Quake is actually the engine that Call of Duty uses. So if you've never seen actual Quake gameplay, you should go just check it out. Like type in Quake 3 or something in YouTube and go check out some gameplay for 4 seconds. It'll be educational. But those games, as I was trying to say, were very, very different. Like, they were very slow paced. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, came Counter-Strike. Now, for those of you who don't know, Counter-Strike was the biggest like first-person shooter for a long time, and it is where S&D, or Search and Destroy, came about, because that was really all it was. Like, Counter-Strike was S&D. Up until then, all the other games I just mentioned were basically just team deathmatch or just deathmatch. You run around, you blow people up, yay, crazy time. Oh, you died, you spawn back up. It was basically like that. Now, Counter-Strike was not. Like, it was S&D, and of course at the time it was like, whoa, hold on, you actually wait for people to finish the round? Wow, that's weird. But people seemed to like it, it was crazy popular for a very, very long time. But at the same time, it was not like Call of Duty either, because, well, alright, here, go into Google Images and type in Counter-Strike 1.5 Office. You will probably end up seeing, like, this is one of the earlier, or not even the earliest, but one of the earlier versions of Counter-Strike. But you will see that the maps were very empty. As in, you're basically looking at 4 blank walls and nothing in between. So when you had a very clear character model in between, it wasn't like Call of Duty where you have to, like, look around for the enemy and find them and, spot them, and it's all about, like, hiding and being sneaky. Like, Counter-Strike was not like that, because you could see your enemy right there, like, he's in plain sight. It was more about, like, who, jumped out of which corner when, and who had the better aim, and who could control the recoil with their gun better. Like, that was basically what that was all about. It wasn't about, like, okay, I'm gonna hide in this grass over here because my super awesome ghillie suit hides me perfectly and nobody will see me. It wasn't, well, of course, not like Call of Duty actually works like that either, but, you get the idea. And things were very different. And it wasn't until probably like many years and updates later, like, that they started adding like cabinets and chairs and things people could actually go around and hide behind. And I guess at that point the game started developing a very interesting or new style. But anyway, it seems like that's all the time we actually had for today, so I'm gonna make this part 1, and you guys let me know if you like it, and I will make part 2. I'll probably not wait till next Sunday, because that won't be fair to you. I will upload part 2 in the next day or two. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what your thoughts are, and definitely go check out Shorty, not Shorty Academy. Well, that would be cool. No, Gamma Academy. I'm kidding. I'm not that selfish. Gamma Academy over at GammaGamers TV, because you guys definitely need to check that out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.